Well, the country's population has grown by 1.55% since last year. This means that nearly 60 million people now live in South Africa. Well, earlier this week, Statistics South Africa released the mid-year population estimates for 2018. Joining us from our Pretoria studio is Statistician General Risenga Maluleke. A very good evening, sir. We thank you very much for your time. On a national average, what have been the main contributing factors to the increase?
Good evening to the viewers. Good evening again, and good evening to the viewers.
Definitely. Mr. Maluleke, just take us through on average, what have been some of the main contributing factors to the increase that we've seen in population?
We have seen an increase of 1.2 million births that have occurred between 1st July and 2017 and 1st July this year. The second issue that we have also observed is the number of people that have the net migration of about 200,000. And of course, those things happened in the midst of about 522,000 deaths that have occurred. But nonetheless, the number of deaths have actually contributed to an increase in the population. And not only that, we also have observed that Gauteng has continued to stake its claim as the most populous province in South Africa, sitting at 14.72 million persons.
Yeah, reading up on Gauteng staking that 14.8 million status, let's have a look at some of the pull factors for Gauteng actually being a draw card, with one of the factors there being an increase also in migrants.
Well, generally, we see that two things that are happening. Your urbanized provinces in the form of the Western Cape as well as Gauteng do tend to encourage a lot of people to go to them. And of course, one of the things that we have also observed is that your international migrants, when they arrive in the country, 50% of them go to Gauteng. You still have a lot of people coming out of other provinces going to Gauteng, particularly people from Limpopo. They are going to Gauteng. But also we have observed that the Western Cape has people coming from the Eastern Cape going to that province.
Definitely. On that issue of urbanization and a cross-border, let's have a look at some of the impacts that it has, not only politically and socially, but in terms of infrastructure, in terms of education. Year on year, January comes and we hear that, South African schools are full, students continuously wait, parents also wait, struggling to get their schools into children. Let's have a look at some of the impacts that this is going to be having going forward.
Statistics South Africa doesn't measure impact, the whole issue, because impact goes hand in hand with the policy position that the country holds as regards education, in relation to the number of children you can have in a classroom, and all other issues, as well as health, issues of free health, services for the indigent. So now, Stats SA doesn't look at health. We look at issues as far as outcomes. Now, we may see that the data is showing that there is an increase in Gauteng, which of course has the least landmass space in South Africa, as compared to the Northern Cape, which has 1.2 million people, and yet it has got the largest landmass space. But also as regards issues of infrastructure, we do pick up from time to time other issues, indicators from other surveys that relate to education, but they do not literally look at matters of impact.
Lastly, just before we wrap it up, let's have a look at the decline, 0.4% in fertility rate from 2018 to present day 2018.
Generally, we have seen all over the whole world that as women get more assertive about taking charge of their lives in relation to the number of children that they can give birth to, live births, in their lifetime, then we see a decline. It's not an issue of South Africa alone. We have had a decline coming out of 2002 and again going up and a steady increase until 2008. In 2008, we were sitting at 2.68 live births per woman. But after 2008, it has been going down, and as it's sitting now at 2.4. But generally, that issue is informed by enlightenment amongst women, as well as women becoming assertive in terms of decisions that they take on the number of children that they will have in their lifetime.
Thank you very much for your time this evening from Statistician Risenga Maluleke on the 2018 mid-year population estimates.